What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I hope you like this video. This is Ladies Night, season 1, or probably the only season, episode 2. So look, I got a few things I gotta get off my chest before I get into this review, okay? First of all, rumor has it, no, it ain't rumor. Some facts have come to light. First of all, shout out to the people in my comments who let me know that the residency is already over. That Salt-N-Pepa's residency was canceled after XYZ because they've missed too many shows. Now, why they missed so many shows, I honestly don't know. But I think it's kind of ironic that their residency was canceled for missing too many shows with this whole situation with Coco. Now, I ain't verified that, so let me preface by saying that's what I was told. I ain't double checked, but I know I hadn't heard anything about the residency in a while. I just thought I wasn't hearing anything about it. Now, the other thing that I want to bring to light is Spinderella has said that she's been terminated from Salt-N-Pepa, that she received an email saying that basically her services were no longer needed, and the management for Salt-N-Pepa would only they wouldn't comment on it. I want to say, did they confirm the email but wouldn't comment further, or they said no, they said they knew about the email, or they knew she had shared the email, or something to that effect. But either here nor there, there's been no comment from the Salt-N-Pepa side of this. Only Spinderella basically saying, I'm no longer with Salt-N-Pepa, yet they are still using my name, making the fans think that I will be there, because they have a lot of shows coming up this summer, and Spinderella's name is still on all the promo. And she was like, look, I just want to let y'all know that I'm not going to be there, but I don't want y'all to think like y'all get there and they make the announcement that I'm not there and y'all think it's something on my end or that I'm being unprofessional. I'm no longer with the group. I will not be touring with the group, but I will be putting some things in place so that my fans can see me. Now, with that being said, I got a few things to get off my chest before I get into this review that makes me sad/angry. Now, Spin said that the storyline will play out as we go through the season on Ladies Night. I kind of already see where this is going. But what bothers me is, and I'm saying this before I see the episodes, okay? So my opinion may change as we go through the episodes. But I'm saying this because I feel like, I said this to you guys last week. I remember when Salt-N-Pepa had their reality show a few years back. It was probably about 5 or 6 years ago now. When it was sort of about Salt-N-Pepa coming back together, because they had split for a while and weren't doing shows and everything. And in the interim, Spin was sort of left hanging. And she made mention of that on tonight's episode, well, yesterday's episode, where she said, you know, when they split and they weren't doing shows, I had to figure something else out. And that's where I built up my solo career, doing DJing and doing things of that nature, you know, and that's sort of how I built myself up. And when the group came back together, then yeah, I you know, from time to time, more times than not, I was with them. But there were times when they did stuff without me. And, you know, so what bothers me is I feel like, first of all, only y'all real fans, and I'm saying, like, alright, I'm a fan of Salt-N-Pepa. Like, my thoughts are all over the place. I'm a Salt-N-Pepa fan. I've been a Salt-N-Pepa fan my entire, like, going back to probably late middle school, like junior high, middle school, going into high school, right? So I very much am a fan of Salt-N-Pepa's. I remember Salt-N-Pepa when they had their first DJ, okay? I remember her. I remember seeing them in concert together. I remember I told y'all that last week. I remember the first time Spinderella performed with Salt-N-Pepa in DC. I don't know when the first time she performed with them, but I know the first time she performed with them in DC, and they was talking cash money shit about their old DJ. I can see her face right now because she's on the cover of Hot Cool Vicious. If you go look at the old album cover for Hot Cool Vicious, it's their first DJ, and I forget her name off the top of my head. But I say all that to say, true fans we don't know Salt-N-Pepa without Spinderella. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember y'all first DJ, but I I don't know y'all without without Spinderella, and it bothers me that whatever the situation is, it has come to this. It just bothers me. It does something for my, 15-year-old soul. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all, y'all just don't know how deep it goes with Salt-N-Pepa, with me and Salt-N-Pepa. I'm an old head anyway. I'm an old school hip hop head anyway. So I'm gonna turn on some Salt-N-Pepa before I'm gonna turn on anything that's on the radio right now. Like, that's just, that's my age group. You know what I'm saying? Like, my parents would listen to Motown before they listened to 80s R&B. They liked 80s R&B, but if you gave them some Supremes, that's what they're going to listen to. You know what I'm saying? That was their music. That's the soundtrack of their youth. And it's like with me, that's the soundtrack of my youth. So it bothers me. It really bothered me to see that this week. And because I feel like it's not coming from a good place. I feel like it's not coming from a genuine place. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. That was 6 minutes of me rambling on about how I don't like what I'm seeing. I'm kind of thankful to this show now, though, so we can kind of see what led up to it. So let's just go on and jump into this episode. So we pick up where we left off with Coco. The other thing that's really bothering me is y'all making me agree with Coco. And I don't normally agree with Coco on a whole lot of shit. But there were a couple of times this episode that I was kind of like, okay, I kind of see where Coco's coming from. However, then there were times when I was like, Coco, you tripping. You know what I'm saying? We start off the episode. We see it is, I'm not going to go scene by scene. I'm just going to break down what happened. So we had Taj, it's Eddie's birthday. He's coming in town. So we see a scene with the two of them together. I love them. I love their relationship. I love that it has lasted. We always quick to celebrate when a relationship, I ain't gonna say celebrate, but we always quick to jump on social media, I should say, to see the train wreck of a relationship not being successful. But I love to see when relationships last, especially Black love, and if you saw their story on the docu series Black Love that comes on, is it BET or VH1? And they talk about their story and the ups and downs of their relationship and the struggles of their relationship. And it's just, I love them. I really do. And even in this episode, you saw where he was there for his birthday, but he ended up comforting her, because she was like, the situation with Coco was stressing her out. Because she was like, look, if this tour, see, I'm talking out of order. I'll get back to that in a minute. But she was like, if the tour is not going to work out the way we thought it was going to work out, like I left my family, I left my child, I left, for this tour. And I just don't think Coco is taking it as serious or understanding the repercussions of this tour the way me and Lily see the tour. And then she was saying how she's got that mom guilt because her son plays sports, and she's like, I've missed all of his games this season. And what I love about what Eddie's response was, he was like, look, my mother didn't make it to all my games. Like, she was a working mother, and I understood, yeah. And she said, yeah, but it bothers me. As a mother, I just want to be there. I want to, when he's having a bad day, I want to be able to wipe his tears. And you could tell that it really was bothering her. But I love his answer. I just love that he was like, look, I got this. Like, this is what you do. I'm not going to minimize what you do. I'm not going to make you feel worse than what you already feel. And I felt like he was really supporting her. And I love that, So anyway, that was that. We'll get back to that. It was a scene where they went to the little naughty store to get him his birthday gift. It was cute. Because, again, it didn't get raunchy. It was cute. I feel like on all these reality shows, wherever there's women, we always end up at a sex toy store at some point. Why we don't never see the men go to sex toy stores? Why is it always women that go to sex toy stores on these shows? The men be at the gym, in the studio. Why the men don't never take a trip down to the naughty store? Let's talk about it. All right, next time. So, rewind to the beginning, because I kind of jumped ahead when I got talking about Taj and Eddie. Salt-N-Pepa are concerned about committing to a long-term tour with Coco's situation being shaky. I don't think that's a bad idea. I think that's actually a smart move. They decided to drop it down to a couple of spot dates where they already had some shows booked. They would invite SWV to come along on those shows, perform a couple of their songs. They would do What a Man together. And then if that worked out and if Coco was consistent, Then they would extend the tour. What they didn't want to do was commit the time and energy into a long-term tour just to end up, with a part-time opening. Well, I shouldn't say opening act because it's supposed to be an equal tour, but it really is. SWE is really their opening act. Coco was a little frustrated by that, but I understood where Salt-N-Pepa was coming from, and they had a valid point. If you have 2 meetings just to talk logistics and you can't make it to either meeting, it stands to reason to say, hey, we need to look at the long-term success of this. We need to look to see if this is going to be successful for the long term. I don't think that was a bad idea. And I think the way they presented it to SWV was as honest as they could be about it. And they were like, it's not an ego thing. It's not, but it really is about making sure that we are going to be able to be consistent. We have these other commitments, and we don't want to sacrifice one commitment for a commitment that's not going to be successful. And here's the reality, Coco. Until your divorce is final, your time really is not your own. Because if your lawyer can call you in the middle of the night, he on the East Coast, you on the West Coast, and say, I need you here in the morning because we have to meet with the judge, and you have to get on a plane in the middle of the night and catch a red eye to the East Coast, the reality of the situation is right now your time is not your own. And so committing to a long-term situation, although you might want the work, although you might need the work, it's not feasible in that moment. Reality. It's just not feasible in that moment. And so rewinding the tape. So the SWV ladies meet, and they talk about it. Excuse me. The SWV ladies meet, and they talk about it, and they were like, I don't think Coco really understands the gravity of basically if we fuck this up. But where I do agree with Coco is I do think they sell themselves short. They were like, well, I think Coco feels like we're bigger than what we really are, and we're not on the level of a Salt-N-Pepa, and we and I'm thinking to myself, well, ho. Stop selling yourselves short. Y'all are not. You are a group. You are people. People know you. You have sold records. You have, you have like SWV is a name. Have they been around as long as Salt-N-Pepa? No. Have they had the longevity of Salt-N-Pepa? Not necessarily. But at the end of the day, it's not like they got a couple of mixtapes they selling off their trunk. And I think that I do agree with Coco with that I'm like, y'all just willing to accept whatever scraps they throw at us. But Coco agreed to do the spot tours. But Coco was like, I'm not auditioning. Like, I don't feel like I'm at a level where I need to be auditioning to be worthy of going on tour with Salt-N-Pepa. She was like, what I am going to do is prove them wrong and make them realize that they made a mistake by feeling like they couldn't, rely on us or thought we weren't going to bring it. So then we see Spinderella and Taj. They have a relationship. They've been friends for a while. And they sort of have a common story from the point of view of they're in a 3-female group situation, and they're sort of in the middle. Spin's situation is a little different because not only does she feel like she's in the middle of, Salt-N-Pepa, but she always felt like the third, the third eye. You know what I mean? Third wheel is what I'm looking for. Whereas Taj is like, she never felt like the third wheel. Like, she felt like she was part of the group. Just, she's in the middle of, Coco on one end, Lily on the other end, and she's sort of the middle, the zen in the middle. But, that's when Spin was telling her story about how, she's always sort of been the third wheel with Salt-N-Pepa. They are best friends. They've known each other their whole lives. They went to school together. They worked together. They started the group together. Like, that, and she said, I sort of came along after, as an afterthought, sort of came in and joined them, and and on top of that, I was young. So I was always the third wheel. They always looked at me as like their little sister. She was like, but at this point, I'm a grown-ass woman, and I need them to accept and understand that I'm a grown-ass woman. She said, when the group split, like I already said, when the group sort of split for those years, she had to figure something out, and she had to figure out how to basically build her brand without Salt-N-Pepa and make a name for herself as DJ Spinderella. And, she said, I'm not the first and I'm not the only female DJ in this game, but I am one of the most successful. And for that, I need to build on that brand, because there are times when Salt-N-Pepa does not include me in their plans. When their management sits down and he books stuff, he don't always book stuff for Salt-N-Pepa and Spinderella. Sometimes it's just Salt-N-Pepa. And we've seen that. We've seen them make appearances and Spin ain't there. So she did meet with management. Now, Spin, my first problem with you, not problem, because I ain't got no problem with you, Spin, right now. My first criticism is you need your own management, because you're using Salt-N-Pepa's management, but yet you want them to prioritize you in certain areas. They're never going to do that, because they are Salt-N-Pepa's management. You need to find your own management. When you want to do projects that are separate from Salt-N-Pepa, you need to have separate management, because that's the only way you're going to ensure that they're looking out for just your best interest. And she was meeting with the management saying, look, while we're here in Vegas, since we're here, and it is Vegas, and there's 50 clubs in every hotel, why can't I get a residency here? Like, I'm going to state my commitment to Salt-N-Pepa will be my first priority. However, I want to create something of my own here. Even if it's just twice a month, where there's a party, a Spinderella party that I'm hosting, I'm DJing. Like, I would love to have something like that. And so the first thing out the manager's mouth was, oh, that'd be great. And we could bring, the girls could come in and do a host, and they could do this and do that. And Spin was like, whoa. That's not what I'm asking. I don't want them. This is not a Salt-N-Pepa project. This is Spin. And, I don't necessarily want it to be a part of it. No disrespect, no issue. Just, I want this to be my project. And see, that's what I'm saying. The first thing they were thinking was, how can they turn this into a Salt-N-Pepa project with Spinderella involved? You see what I'm saying? And that's why you need to find your own management. Well, now, I'm sure you do now. But that's why you needed to find your own management. Now, with that being said, they were able to. They found the same hotel where the residency actually was taking place. They talked to the manager of the club, and he was more than interested. Because, of course, who can't book? I've been to Vegas and been to parties in Vegas. And it might be a celebrity in the house that you ain't never gonna see, that's in a part of the club, the VIP section, that you ain't never gonna touch. But just the fact that they are in the building and their name is on the marquee, they can add $50, $60, $100 to the tickets. Just because that person gonna be in the building, much less whether you actually you gonna get close to them or even gonna see them, much less. You know what I mean? So it's a situation where it's a win-win for the hotel. Why wouldn't they want that to happen? So anyway, I'm rambling. Let me get back to this. So Spin took it to the girls, the ladies, and she let them know, look, I have this opportunity that to do this residency, and I want to let you guys know. I want to be upfront and let you guys know what's going on. They didn't say no, but their body language and their eyes said they was not feeling it. Pep kept giving Salt the side eye, and both of them were like, well, this sounds like a great thing, but we just want to make sure that you're going to be able to maintain your commitments to Salt-N-Pepa and with the residency and with the tour and with everything. And Spin was like I'm good. Like, I'm good. She was like, we in Vegas. I would be a fool not to take advantage of being in Vegas for 6 months and not do anything and not take advantage of the fact that all of these clubs and stuff are here. And she's a DJ. She's used to being up half the damn night. I'm sure her sleep pattern is all fucked up. You know what I mean? Because she's used to doing parties and club gigs and stuff like that. So, like I said, their words were like, you know how you tell somebody something, it's like, oh, I'm happy for you. But their body language said they wasn't really feeling it. But, okay. Back to the group piece. So, Lily and Taj were concerned, like I said before, that Coco really wasn't understanding how this opportunity could really build some things for them and really open some doors for them. And again, I feel like they still in their group short, but I understood the point they were making. I don't think Coco understands it either, because I think in Coco's mind, they could carry a tour themselves and they didn't need Salt-N-Pepa. And she might be right. I mean, If I had a choice, would I buy Salt-N-Pepa tickets before I buy SWV tickets? Probably. But I've seen Salt-N-Pepa so many times, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But they're two different types of music, and they're two different time periods for me. SWV was more my college years. Salt-N-Pepa takes me back to high school. So for me, it's a different time period. However, I would want to go. I would want to go to both. Like if the ladies night tour came through DC, I'd want to go. You know, so Salt-N-Pepa were like, okay, let's get them with the choreography. And they were worried, they were like, SWV ain't really known for dancing. Salt-N-Pepa gonna always give you a dance, and they do. Even in their older years, they don't do as much as they used to do, but they always gonna give you some choreography. They always gonna give you some dance moves. So they had SWV working with their choreographer and going through the dance moves, and they were struggling. They were having a hard time with it, honey. They were struggling a lot. And then they got together for the next time to do it again the next time, and Coco was late. They didn't even know Coco was gonna show up, which tells me they hadn't even talked to Coco. They didn't know where she was. They didn't know why she wasn't there. That's what that says to me. They trying to call her. She ain't picking up, and then she come flowing through there after the rehearsal was over, because she had been on the phone with her lawyer all morning. Again, like I said, her time is not her own right now. So she had been on the phone with her lawyer all morning and about the divorce, and they're talking about the show. Now, Spin says, my concern from the DJ point of view is Weak is such a slow tempo song. The whole show is an up tempo, and Weak being such a slow tempo song, would you consider doing another song? Now, I am 120% in agreement with Coco. Coco said, I ain't never getting on stage and not singing Weak. Never. That is our signature marquee song. And she is 100% correct. If I ever went to a SWV show and they ain't do Weak, I want my money back. She not lying about that. Is she not wrong? And she said that's a deal breaker for me. Because they were like, well, what about doing Human Nature remix? She was like, I ain't never getting on stage and not doing Weak. Period. And I'm with her. Again, I'm 100%. And like she said, what if somebody asked you to go? Well, she didn't. See, my problem is she didn't say this to them. She said this in her confessional. But what if they asked Salt-N-Pepa to go on stage and not do Push It? Now, granted, Salt-N-Pepa got a lot of other hits that people probably wouldn't be as upset about, but the point is valid. That's like going to see Prince and not getting Purple Rain. I remember one time, I went to a Prince concert one time. It was his musicology tour, because remember, that was the last time he was supposed to be singing certain songs. He wasn't going to do, after musicology, he wasn't going to do Darling Nikki and some of his other more raunchy songs, because that's when he had become a Jehovah's Witness, and he was like, he wasn't singing them anymore. So that was your last opportunity, if you wanted to hear those songs, right? I remember sitting there. He went through his whole show. Great show. Yes, Prince. Got to the end and he hadn't sang Purple Rain. People were actually getting up and leaving. I said, oh, they not real Prince fans, because if they think that he's getting ready to get off this stage and not do Purple Rain, they ain't real fans. Because I sat there. I said, I know good and damn well he better bring his little ass back up on this stage and do Purple Rain. And he did. It was his encore. You know what I mean? But it was certain things you expect from certain artists. There's certain songs you expect to hear from certain artists. Ain't no way in the world SWV ever supposed to get on stage and not do Weak. And for them to even suggest it or consider it or even put it out there, I felt like was a little disrespectful is a strong word. I don't think it was disrespectful, but I do think it was a little inconsiderate for them to be like, well, our show is up tempo, so y'all don't need to sing y'all marquee song. So for that was Spin. I was kind of giving you the side eye on it a little bit, Spin. But you definitely see the tension building between Spinderella and Salt-N-Pepa, and you see the tension rising with Coco. But we knew Coco was gonna be the wild card all the way around. I never looked at their I never really looked at SWV's reality show, but from what I knew of the reality show, Coco was definitely showed her tail on it. But anyway, so that's that, y'all. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in them comments. Peace. And don't forget, thank a teacher.